Not that much of a point to creep the gold mine. Like, yeah, he could have crept it and not expanded there, but that's just my natural instinct to check the expansion. I could have played it sneaky too. If you saw my army, like went up above the trees, up into the upper level behind this Murloc camp. I moved down and through fog of war he couldn't see where I was going, so I think that was a pretty good move by me. So pretty much what the strat I'm going for is, since I'm having tabs on him and canceling his expansion, I'm leaning towards the tier 2 push with Naga and with casters and Ivory Towers and stuff. So he has so many archers right now. Yeah, by the way, when I said like he probably shouldn't have crept the gold mine, like most nights they creep the mercenary camp before the gold mine if I was in that position. If it was in that position most of the time, because they can get the mercenaries and they can defend off their expansion a lot easier once they get the mercenaries. So, you know, like I said, change your hotkeys up. You know, hotkey your hero out of your footman. If you don't already, that's good. You can move your archmage around a lot easier. And you can, you know, change your pattern of where you're moving your units and where you're moving your archmage, so you can make the night elf multitask. And I canceled his expansion again. I don't know why I didn't make the water attack that expansion again after you rebuilt it. I don't think you can't really cancel anyway with one unit. You really need most of the time 2 units. So when you're doing the strat and timing's all good and you know you're getting everything down, you're not losing that many footmen. When the push comes along, it really helps it out because you have more units in him and you have all those footmen still from early game. I suggest to build your Arcane Sanctums at your expansion because you know, from your expansion to his expansion, there's a lot smaller rally point, so you can get those sorceresses and priests and breakers in as fast as possible when you push. And you know, if you don't already hotkey your buildings, I think I suggest this in most of my audios. Always hotkey your buildings. I'm just gonna bank under 50 food a little bit right now until I get those farms up. Well, until a little bit later, until the farms are almost done, and then I'll start just mass pumping units. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna creep this camp, smart camp, and I'm just start massing units like I am right now. You don't need 2 Raxus for rifles, in my opinion, on this strat, because you're mostly gonna get a breaker. You can get like a few rifles, maybe like 2 or 3, you know, 2 morts, and just like mass breakers, because you still have all these units from beginning of the game. It's not really that big of a deal. And the way it is with Night Elf, if you get more piercing damage units, like mortars and rifles, you can get more sorks, because if you have more piercing damage, he's gonna have less dryads. Which means if you have less dryads, you can't dispel slow all the time. So it is good to get, you know, sorceresses and priests, in my opinion. It's just mass source and mass piercing. So at this point, I know that he's expanding. Like 100% sure, you know he's expanding because there's nothing else he can do. I mean, I don't think he's like a really great player, but he gets the fact that if he doesn't expand, he's gonna lose the game. I just think the beginning of his game wasn't that good. His micro wasn't that good, and he you know, he chased my army around too much. He should have crept the mercenary camp a lot sooner to get mercenaries and stop my archmage from running around him so easily. I'm just gonna creep this shop, and you send all your wood militia, or most of them, for this push too, so you can repair your towers. And I'm gonna get 1 scroll after that creep, and this is when I'm gonna start pushing. And you see my gold. I have like 50 gold. You need good macro when you're doing this tower. You need to at least get 1 or 2 heal scrolls versus the panda. I don't even think 2 of them is necessary. I probably only need 1 because I'd much rather have like another breaker instead of 2 at this point because his panda isn't level 3. So now it's just like, you know, attack moving. Sort of. So when I pop my first heal skull. The battle is pretty much self-explanatory. I mean, you make your piercing damage stuff, attack the dryads, you deal with the archers later. It's the easiest I can put it. If you see on my base, I'm building priests to get the skeletons out of the way. There's not much you can do. Pretty much over at this point. He doesn't have his expansion up long enough. Doesn't have bears. He's still making dryads. I think it would have been somewhat closer if he had maybe a Rejuve bear, and then when he hit tier 3, he could have got the upgrade. But then you know what? I just would have made more sorceresses, and his heroes don't compare to mine right now. So I think would have won out anyway if he had 2 or 3 bears right there. And this is where the funny chat comes in. La 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 la.
Our forces are under attack.
Ready for it? Ready for it? Ready for it? Oh, there it is. Yeah. When in doubt, if you suck at this game, talk about real life. That's my motto. I hate freaking kids that do that. So yeah. All right, let's get the second replay audio 2 loaded up at the 15-second mark. Let's see. And hopefully my mic sounds. I think it sounds a little bit better. I did get an extra separate headset and just a detachable mic. It's not a headset, it's headphones with a detachable mic, so hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. I mean, I'm on vent a lot and they say it sounds fine for an audio, so I know there might be a slight hissing sound, but hopefully it's not too loud. Okay. Getting this replay loaded right now for me. And this is versus Triumvir. 15-second mark, 1 XP, my point of view, fog of war off. I think I played this person maybe like 3 or 4 days ago. It was on Being at Ladder. He was like level 40 undead, so he was the top undead on the ladder. So, you know, this is what the mostly undeads, high level undeads and people that play ladder a lot are gonna do. Versus, which is what I'm saying this to my audience that doesn't necessarily play this game a lot, but you know, like I keep saying, casually plays ladder a lot. Hopefully you guys learn from it. So yeah, let's get this replay loaded. Okay, I'm loaded, I'm paused, 15-second mark. Ready? 1x, speed my point of view, fog of war off. I'm paused in 3, 2, 1, I'm paused.
Ready to work.
So, like I said in the last replay, when you see unethical fiends, most of the time you can create the mercenary camp right off the bat, because mercs do help for fiends, because they fiend push you, which I lose that when I lose to undead. That's most of the time when I lose to. If I make a micro mistake in the beginning, I lose like a footman or 2. If they just push me with like a naga second and they lose no fiends in the beginning, I'm pretty much fucked. It doesn't even matter how many towers I build. It's just, you know, most of the time on this map, there's only gonna be maybe like 3 towers hitting one fiend at once, or one hero at once, because he can just outrange them, and he'll just pick off one tower, and then you lose the advantage of that. He'll pick up another tower one by one, and any unit that gets, you know, weakened, he just coils. So yeah, how to beat that? I suggest just not lose footman in the beginning, get defend, and use mercenaries to beat that. But this audio isn't about that. This replay is going to be about defending a destro push and how you can bounce back from a mistake that you make versus an undead on this small ass map that favors human, but I think it favors undead too, just because it's small. The undead knows where you are pretty much the whole game. He knows where you are. There's not many creeps on the map, which is good for undead because you can creep track you easily. I've played some screw around games as undead with human on this map, and I think it's pretty fun because you always know where your opponent is. It's a pretty predictable map, pretty easy predictable map of knowing where your opponent is. So You know, it's just having to deal with the undead harassment.